Welcome to day 32 of our school year. Go ahead and fill in that day. Oops, a little darker. Okay, let's start with our beginning fraction. Our denominator is 180 because that's the total amount of school days. And we are on day 32. So we need to think, is our numerator prime or composite? Well, it's even, and the only even number that's prime is 2, so it has to be composite. But if you want to check for sure, you could always look on your prime number sieve and see that it is not circled. The only even number that is 2. Every other even number is not circled. So that means we have to do our prime factorization for both our denominator and our numerator. If you forget prime factorization, we only look at prime numbers. So our first 5 prime are 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11. So if I look, this is even, so I can divide by 2. Half of 18 is 9, and then my placeholder. It ends in a 0, so I know that 5 is a factor. I can get one group of 5 out of 90. Then I'm left with 40, so that's 8 times 5. That's even, so I can divide by 2, and I get 9. 9 I can divide by 3, and I get 3. When I finally get to a prime number, I'm done with my factorization. Here, 32 is even, so I can divide by 2. I can get one group of 2 out of 3, then I'm left with 12, which is 6 groups. That's even, so I can divide by 2 again. That's even, so I can divide by 2 again. That's even, so I can divide by 2. I get to 2, and I'm done with my prime factorization. So I'm running out of some of my room to write down my new fraction, but I can fit it in. So I write my denominator, my prime factors from least to greatest, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see what we have common. It looks like we have 2 2's in both the numerator and denominator. 2 times 2 is 4, so our greatest common factor is 4. That leaves 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 in the numerator. 3 times 3, which is 9, times 5 is 45, so it leaves 8 45ths. Let's see if that's what we get with our model. So let's make our groups of 4. Remember, it does not matter what your groups of 4 look like, just as long as you have 4 in each group and you keep your shaded separated from your unshaded. I'm going to use perfect squares to make my groups, because 4 is a perfect square. 2 times 2. It's called a perfect square because it makes a perfect square. There are all my groups of 4. So I'm going to count up all my total groups. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each of these rows, and then I'll go back and get that column and the couple that are sitting by themselves. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Yes, my denominator is 45. And then my numerator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is 8 40/5. Now let's go ahead and check with our algorithm. We're going to use our area model. Dividing both, it's always going to be the same because we made the same amount of groups in both the shaded and the unshaded. So we're going to divide 180 by 4 and we're going to divide 32 by 4. Let's see, 4 quarters makes 100 cents. 4 times 25 is 100. Numbers the same, zeros a game, more on top, no need to stop. I bring that 80 up here, and I can do 2 times 4 will get 8. So 20 times 4 is 80. Numbers the same, zeros a game. So now I add these partial quotients. 25 plus 20 is 45. Okay, down here, let's see, I'm going to try 5 times 4 is 20. More on top, no need to stop. More on top, no need to stop. And then 12, let's see, that's 3 times 4 is 12. Numbers the same, zeros a game. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, now I still need to check using my inverse operation. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Since my remainder is 0 for both, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0 it stays the same, I don't need to actually add the 0. 4 times 5 is 20. I regroup. 4 times 4, 40 is 16 tens, plus 2 more tens is 18 tens. 4 times 8 is 32. So 32 matches my dividend. Check. 180 matches my dividend. Check. So 8 is definitely my numerator, and 45 is definitely my denominator. Okay, now it's time to fill in our data collection page. All right, we are now in trimester 1, week 8. Our date today is 9/23/19, and our fraction for today is 8/45. Okay, let's go ahead and get it out our number line. We did groups of 4, and our last group of 4 was 7/45. So here we go, 8/45. We do have an equivalent fraction in the 2's. 2 is also a common factor. And then here we have our 32/180. So this is our simplest form, or equivalent fraction in lowest terms. Okay, go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.